If every single president for the next 40 presidents or vice presidents was a black woman, imagine people would think it's just crazy. And that shows sexism and racism and how ingrained it is in us.
Moving on to patriarchy and women, I wanted to talk about this as well. Fortunately, I've been grown in a very equal family. I have a sister as well, and we have always been given the values that we are all equal and all of that. So, growing up, it has been weird, to see that there's a lot of differences, discrimination being made between men and women. And we saw like the first U.S. vice president who's a female for the first time, and this is 2020 this that we're talking about, which is just, I can't believe it. Like, we have been talking about women empowerment and this for like 10 years probably now, but 2020 is when the first United States vice president is a female. So I just can't understand this. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, I did a post about this when it happened, and I was like, I am happy that we have a female vice president. But hopefully it's just the beginning, because imagine if so let's say we've had 80 presidents and vice presidents. Let's say 40 presidents. I don't know the exact number, 40. So let's say all the next 40 presidents were black women. Like, how does that make you react in your mind? Not you necessarily, but whoever's listening. Like, do you go like, oh, it shouldn't be only black women, or oh, it shouldn't be this, it should be a mix? Well, the last 40 presidents were all white men. So, yeah. So imagine, and everybody treats it like it's normal. They're like, oh, another white man is president. Great, normal. But if every single president for the next 40 presidents or vice presidents was a black woman, imagine people would think it's just crazy. And that shows sexism and racism and how ingrained it is in us. Like, it's just normal that all the leaders are white and male.
Yeah, I think I was
So,
in
hope.
2008. I was 8 years old, and Barack Obama won the presidency, and there was so much news about just that he's the first black president, and imagine now a female black vice president. So,
Yeah,
just like, do you see this changing like in the near future, like country-wise, not just
I do.
talking about politics, but in India,
Yeah,
Canada, and Bangladesh, and all of these countries where the discrimination
I
is happening
do.
more? You do?
I think a lot of changes happen not like this, right? Not all changes are linear. Sometimes it's like the hockey stick, right? So, my hope is that this is the beginning of the hockey stick, and it's just going to go up really fast. Whereas before it was just like this, there wasn't really any change, and now it's going to go, right? So I think not all over the world, right? I mean, there's so many countries where there's just no women's rights practically. But in the countries that are more currently progressive, I mean, already we have Jacinda in New Zealand. We just have a new, I think it's in Estonia. In Eastern Europe, they have like a new female president in all these different countries. Oh no, sorry, Moldova. So it's already changing, right? And Congress is getting more women, and the women listening, right? We have to do it. And it sucks, right? It sucks to be the first women to do this stuff. It's the hardest for us. But we have to take on the weight and be the ones to go do this stuff. I have to do it on social media. I don't want to do this. I don't want to make these videos that make me a target of hate, but I have to do it. Someone has to do it, so I'll do it,
Yeah.
Someone has to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of compounding effect. I think millennials, your generation and my generation, Gen Z, because of the internet and because of the awareness that we have, we sort of know that okay, we are equals and there's no discrimination. Rather, in the generation before us, there was discrimination and it was all going on, lack of awareness and all of that. Now, from your generation, millennials and Gen Z again, the compounding effect is kicking in probably in the next 5-10 years when we probably come in power, when we become decision makers in politics,
Yeah.
in positions of power basically. I think then the equality will be much 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 higher, hopefully.
I think it will happen slowly, and we have to make noise. You know, we have to complain, and we have to make things change. And it's important to have, you know, male allies, right? Like you and other men that are willing, you know, you're giving up a little bit, right? In the short term, you're giving up your patriarchal advantage for the greater good of humanity, because it's better for humanity when women are empowered, because then the economy will improve, everything will improve in the long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the good point
Yeah.
you mentioned. Like, even if men are, open to equality, they then the second thought comes in, like, okay, but this is an advantage for me. Why should I sort of, let this go and all of that? And there's where the character of that person comes into play. And more often than not, they're like, yeah, let's just go ahead with patriarchy.
You're like, let's just keep it. It's
Yeah.
working for me.
Right.